Hey, Crystal Maiden here. One last thing I'd like to mention for this level is that Yuji Naka thought hedgehogs couldn't swim, and that's why Sonic can't swim in the Sonic games. Which is a pretty interesting bit of trivia. And also, there was a beta item in Sonic 1 called, it looked like scuba gear, and a lot of ROM hacks of Sonic 1 use that as an air bubbles in an item box. Which is pretty cool. I hate this section. It's like, how are you supposed to get past that without getting hit by the spikes? I've actually gotten past it successfully before, but this time I wasn't so lucky. And life boxes don't respawn in this game, by the way. But at least I died after I got the life box instead of before. Anyways, I really like the whole using scuba gear as the item box air bubble concept because I hate having to wait for bubbles to show up because you can drown while you're waiting for them to show up. So it's a lot more convenient to have them in the item boxes. I hate this boss, especially like the Game Gear version isn't so bad. Look, he shoots energy balls, and it's so easy to get hit by them. And I hate how it's better to just stand there and wait for the missile to fire so that it fires onto... Like, if you're standing on the left side of the screen, stand there just long enough that the missile starts firing and moves to the left. And that way, it's the easiest to avoid. Because if you don't jump out of the way enough, it's like if you don't do it exactly right, then you're probably going to get a situation where you're a lot more likely to get hurt by them. That life box is pretty dickish. Yeah, you gotta jump on it at exactly the right time. Scrap Brain Zone is another level that this game took from the original Sonic 1. And I vastly prefer Sonic 1 for the Genesis version of this. Because, like, again, I'm one of those weird people who actually likes Sonic 1 for the Genesis' Scrap Brain Zone. Because I just love how it's got so many satisfying platform challenges, and you really feel like an expert in the game for getting through them all well. This level isn't really about platforming challenges all that much. It's just kind of annoying, and it's mostly about being a maze. That's really what it's about. I mean, it has caterpillars, which are pretty annoying. It's also got fast parts. Like, I love how you can roll and you can roll into a bowl and go down those slopes really fast. And it's got the electricity and the fire, just like in the original Scrap Brain Zone. I don't remember fireballs flying around in the original though. And it's got a lot more conveyor belts than the original Scrap Brain Zone did. And you gotta keep on jumping on them, because if you just walk on them, then your momentum will be all screwed up and stuff, and you'll end up flying off them. I never had a problem with wonky hitboxes for the caterpillars in this version, in Sonic 1 8-bit. Oh, I love how fast that is. Because, like, I was rolling into the caterpillars in Sonic 1 8-bit, and I had no problem. I never got hit by them unfairly. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is to go too far to the right. You don't want to try to go too fast to the right, because then you'll fall all the way down. And the goal is not to fall all the way down. It's actually to go down it the slow way. At least they have a life box as a reward. I haven't talked about this game's Chaos Emerald system yet. I hate that section. you probably noticed that there's Chaos Emeralds that you find in the actual levels, which I mostly prefer to having to do ridiculously over-the-top, difficult special stages that are so incredibly difficult that I never bother getting all the Chaos Emeralds. At least here, there's a possibility that I might get all the Chaos Emeralds. The problem is that sometimes the Chaos Emeralds are hidden in very obtuse places, and it's very... you pretty much need to look up a guide to figure out exactly how to navigate through the level. So here's what you do. You step on that switch to make the door close in exactly that way, so that the door to the right is closed, but not the left door. That's how you get the Chaos Emerald, by the way. So basically, you press that switch, and now you go back to this room. Labyrinth Zone of Sonic 1 8-bit is unique because it's divided into multiple different areas with room transitions. And it's cool how if you die, then the beginning of each area is actually a checkpoint all by itself. And not the item box kind either. You're guaranteed to always respawn from that area, which is pretty cool. Like, there aren't that many Sonic games that have levels that are separated into very clear different rooms. I think of this level as having 3 separate areas. There's Area 1, and then there's Area 2, and then there's Area 2B, which is this room. And yeah, try to resist the urge to roll down the right path. It's kind of annoying. What's also really irritating to me, a minor nitpick, is that after you land on those enemies to the left, and you bounce off them, your control is pretty stiff, because even though you'll be holding right, you can't actually move to the right when you're in the air after bouncing off them, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, just do what I did, hit the switch so that the door to the right is closed, and then you can just go down that pathway, and you can end up getting all the way here. The Master System version of the level isn't that different. The Master System version of Labyrinth Zone's boss isn't really that different either, although I died in it a lot more times. Yeah, that was an epic fail there. I fell down the first bit of the level. And I don't really like this level. I don't really like this act very much because it's basically just a maze. And you're collecting a bunch of rings here, and you might get your hopes up thinking, "Hey, maybe I'll actually be able to fight a boss with rings this time." Nope. There's actually no boss at the end of this act. So, yeah. Later 8-bit Sonic games would actually introduce the concept of Act 3s having rings hidden in them that you can use to actually, fight a boss without the game demanding perfection. I just hate how you have to fight the bosses with 0 rings because it demands perfection. It's like you make a single mistake and you lose a life, and if you lose enough lives, then you get a game over and have to beat the whole game again. There's no level select code for this game. None that works for me anyways. It's like, I tried the level select code for the Master System version of this game, and it didn't work. And like, maybe I'm not doing it right, but I followed all the instructions. I don't know. There's actually a level select cheat for Sonic 1 for Genesis too, and it's actually a lot easier. Like, I'm able to do it very consistently. You just press up, and basically you go up, down, left, right, hold B, and start. You don't hold A and start, so whoever actually said that is a liar. As I said before, there is no song in the soundtrack that I don't love. Ugh, Spike Bug. I hate the Spike Bug in this game. And there's bombs everywhere. Ugh, this level's awful. Anyways, there's not a single song on the soundtrack that I don't love. I love Scrap Brain Zone's theme in this game, even more than in Sonic 1 for the Genesis. Like, I love how ominous it is. And I like Skybase Act 1, it has a different, way cooler aesthetic. I love the dark blue, I love the rain clouds and everything, and the black background. But it has the exact same music as the previous level for some reason. It's only until you get to Act 2 that you get a different theme. Although I'm okay with that, sort of, because the music for Skybase is a lot more suited to Act 2 than to Act 1. And the music, the ominous music of Scrap Brain Zone is a lot more suited to the dread that you're going to feel playing this level. I mean, first of all, like, I hate this level so much, and it's mainly because of the electricity. These platforms, they only move when you're standing on them, so you have to jump on them to get them to stop so that they won't bring you into electricity. Yeah, when you get a Sonic on the goalpost, it gives you an extra life. When you get a ring on the goalpost, it gives you 10 rings, which is only helpful if you have 40 rings, because then it brings your ring counter up to 50 and allows you to get a special stage. So, not all that helpful. If it gave you over 10 rings, like 20 rings, then it would be better. As you can see, the Master System version of the game has very clear level design differences, and I actually think this is a superior version of the level. Like, as you can see, it doesn't start out with you having to roll into a ball and then carefully jump over a bomb. Ugh, Castlevania. Like, it's like he knocked me into the pit. Yeah. And I apologize to any epileptic viewers that are probably lying on the ground right now, foaming at the mouth, because of all the flashes of lights. Like I don't really like that effect at all. It's not as bad as it could be, though. But it's just, the reason I hate the electricity is because there's no way of telling by looking at the crystals where exactly the electricity is going to come from. And sometimes there's situations where the electricity comes from crystals that are off screen. So how are you supposed to know that they're... The only way you can know where the electricity is going to appear is after you've already seen them. See, as you can see, the moving platform section is completely different here. You jump down to one. The cannons are invincible, by the way. It would have been helpful if the crystals had arrows on them or something that made it blatantly obvious where the electricity was going to generate from them. That would make it a fair challenge, instead of you having to stand there and wait for the electricity to show up. Like it's a Mega Man game or something. Again, this game is all about the platforming. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing for a Sonic game if the platforming's done really well, and more importantly, the controls are perfect for it. As you can tell, I'm not going to bother getting all the Chaos Emeralds for this game. Like, I'm not going to bother getting all the Chaos Emeralds for this game because, again, that would require looking up a guide and memorizing all levels, and I don't know where the Chaos Emerald for the first... I don't know where the first Chaos Emerald is. I remember getting it at one point, but I don't remember where it is, and I guess I could theoretically get all the Chaos Emeralds, but really, it's the exact same thing as the good ending for Sonic 1 for the Genesis. You get all the Chaos Emeralds, and they spin around the map, and it restores its previous form. It isn't really all that different. And I hate this level. Look at this! Those energy balls! How are you supposed to avoid them? It's like, you are on a very tiny platform that there's barely any room to move around on. And if you jump, you're probably going to jump into the energy balls. And I just hate those cannons so much. And they're not in the Master System version. It's weird because, for the most part, I think the Master System version is inferior because it's a lot harder. But Scrap Brain Zone and Skybase Zone, they're actually better. They're better in the Master System version. that completely unintuitive skip. Like, seriously, the camera does not show you those platforms that you can land on at all. It's like, how are you supposed to know that you can jump down to the left and land on a platform? Yeah, having a bomb in a narrow corridor that you can't possibly dodge, and so you run into it. Yeah, that's great design. Again, like, in the Master System version, there are no energy balls for you to dodge when you're vulnerable, which is great. But again, see how I'm letting Sonic play out his idle animation? That's a pretty good indicator of just how mind-numbingly boring this act is. Like, I hate it when levels are boring. Like, I really do. Like, this is worse than Marble Zone. Well, not really, because once you get to this part of the level, there's obstacles that you have to deal with, alright? And you have no rings. So, you get hit once, you die, and there's plenty of stuff to get hit with. And considering Sonic's position on the camera, it's not really fair that you're expected to immediately react to them appearing from the left side of the screen and just immediately dodge them. You have to memorize that they're going to show up. I'm going the wrong way, by the way. You're not supposed to actually go all the way up here. And you're going to see why later. I do love this music, though. Like, it's perfectly suited to the setting of an airship, and it keeps the ominous, dreadful atmosphere that a final level should have. And why did Spiked Wallman show up and kill me when I was trying to go left? Yeah, that's why you shouldn't go that way. It's like they're shooting bullet bills at you, and you pretty much have to memorize where they are. And yeah, you can't blame me for using an emulator, because I would have had to, yeah. You look like you're stuck in the wall there. Just go right. Like, that's kind of a weird thing. But yeah, just go to the. I just hate that level. I really do. Like, sometimes the game just hands Chaos Emeralds to you, and I like that. But other times you have to go really out of your way searching for them, and it's not always obvious where they are, and so I don't really care about getting all the Chaos Emeralds, especially since it's really not that big of a difference anyways. I'll see you in the next part.